will install Rust on macOS operating systems. We want to go to the official Rust website, which is rust-lang.org. And on this front page, you'll see a prompt to get started. I'm going to click that. And on this page, if we scroll down, we'll see this terminal command that we can execute, and this is going to install Rust on our computer. It's also going to install a few helper tools, such as a program called Rustup, which is a tool for updating Rust, uninstalling Rust, etc., an entire tool chain, if you will. But I'm going to copy and paste this command right here and open up my terminal. Perfect, doesn't matter where you are. And I'm going to copy and paste that command and execute. So I'm going to scroll up to see the output. It's going to welcome us to the installer. It's going to tell you a little bit about what directories it's going to install Rust in. It's going to include that Rustup toolchain tool. It's also going to install something called Cargo. Cargo is the Rust package manager. So if you are familiar with tools like NPM in the Node ecosystem or Ruby gems in the Ruby ecosystem, it's the same idea. It's the software that's going to manage downloading dependencies for your Rust project. I'm going to scroll down even further. We don't have to worry too much about this. And at the bottom, we're going to be given three options. We're going to select number one, which is just the standard installation. That means standard directories, etc. We don't have to worry too much about it. I'm going to press enter, and that is going to begin the process of downloading all of these additional dependencies and installing them. And this process can take up to a few minutes, depending on the speed of your internet connection. But once it's all done, it's going to tell us Rust is installed now. Great. So what I like to do to confirm that everything is up and running is close the terminal, and then I'm going to reopen it. And then I'm going to check that the Rust compiler is installed by asking it for its version number. So I'm going to enter the command rustc, that is short for Rust compiler, a space, and then I'm going to give it 2 dashes and version. You can think of this as a command that is asking the compiler about its version, and I'm going to get 1.77.2. Since you're watching this in the future, it's probable that you're going to see a version that is different and greater because it's a more modern version of the Rust language. That is totally fine. As long as you get any output, that means that Rust has been successfully installed on your computer. The next step in our setup is installing a text editor. The text editor is the program in which we're going to be writing our Rust source code. A text editor is specifically built for writing code, so it offers many advantages over a regular word processing program, say something like Microsoft Word or Google Docs. In this course, we're going to be using Visual Studio Code, also known as VS Code. And this is a popular, free, open source text editor that offers support for many different languages and environments. So you can write your Rust code in VS Code, but you can also write code from many other languages. So go ahead and open up your browser and navigate to code.visualstudio.com. And on this landing page, we can see an example of the editor on the right. If this is your first programming language, you can hopefully start to see some of the advantages or differences that a text editor has compared to a regular program. For example, we have things like syntax highlighting, which means the editor is using color to identify the different syntax pieces of a language. The constructs that make up the language's syntax are highlighted in different colors. The editor also offers things like shortcuts. It identifies inefficiencies and errors in your code. Basically, it's an environment specifically dedicated to writing code. All right. So with that, the browser should immediately identify your operating system and offer you the right download option. Here for me, it says download for macOS. Let's go ahead and click that. And that should automatically start the download. The file, or the zip rather, is about 200 or so megabytes, so it may take some time. I'm going to check in on my downloads folder. There it is, 226 megabytes for me. Once you get that zip file, you want to double click it. That's going to reveal the actual contents of that archive. Here is the Visual Studio Code application itself, and I'm going to click and drag it to my applications directory. And that completes the installation process, after which we can remove the zip file. All right. Now within applications, I can scroll down and find Visual Studio Code. I also recommend adding it to your Mac dock. This is totally optional, but I'm going to do it for myself just because I find it offers pretty easy access. And with that, we can go ahead and open the actual application. The first time it launches, it may take a little bit longer than usual, but shouldn't be too bad. And we're also going to get this notification that says Visual Studio Code is an app downloaded from the internet. Are you sure you want to open it? This is a minor notification. This is a totally safe program, and we can click open. And that should launch VS Code. All right, so when you launch your editor, it's likely to look very different from mine, and I'm referring purely to the look and feel or the aesthetics of the editor. Things like the background color, the foreground color, the font size may be different on your end, and that's totally fine. It's just a matter of how I have customized the theme of my editor on my end. As long as the editor opens, that is a successful installation, and you don't need to worry about the differences in the look and feel. And in just a moment, I'm going to show you how you can locate and find your own custom theme for VS Code should you want to customize it. Before we get there, though, we need to complete one more part of setup, and that is installing an extension. An extension, like the name suggests, is an add-on or a plugin, basically a piece of software that we can install within VS Code to enable extra functionality. So out of the box, VS Code doesn't actually offer support for the Rust language, but as soon as you install this extension, Rust syntax will just work within the editor. So you'll notice this collection of navigation menu icons to the left. We're going to talk more about these potentially later, but what we're looking for is this one right here, the collection of cubes stacked on top of each other, and it says extensions. You can click that. That will reveal the extensions pane. I'm just going to blow it up a little bit so it's easier to see. And here we can search for various extensions. I'm going to search for Rust and then press enter to search. And what we want is not actually this Rust extension, which is deprecated, but rather this one right here, Rust Analyzer. You can see right here, this extension offers Rust language support for Visual Studio Code. That's exactly what we want. So we'll see this install button. I'm going to click that, and that will install the extension. Make sure to also check this auto update box. That just ensures that as the extension is updated, VS Code will fetch and download the latest version, which is more likely to support all of the latest syntax options in the up-to-date versions of the Rust language itself. All right, and that is the only required extension we need to install. Now, coming back to theme, if you actually search for theme, you're going to find a lot of different themes should you want to customize the look and feel of your editor. Once again, all it deals with is the colors, the font sizes, things like that. If you want your editor to look exactly like mine does, simply because you want the exact same experience, there's two extensions that you need to install. Once again, these are optional. It's purely a matter of personal preference if you want to have the exact same look and feel as I have throughout the course. But for my theme, I am using Winter is Coming. That is a Game of Thrones reference, by the way, some trivia for you. And once you install this theme using the install button, you can click Set Color Theme here. And then I'm using Winter is Coming, dark blue, no italics. As you can see, it sets things like the background and foreground, and this is the theme that I'll be using throughout the course. And the other thing that I'm using is an extension called Material Icon Theme. It is this one right here with over 25 million downloads. Basically, when you open up a folder, also called a project in VS Code, there's going to be potentially a variety of different file types in there. For example, Rust files have their own extension of .rs. And what this theme does is it gives you a nice icon next to a file depending on its type. So for example, I can scroll down here in this alphabetical list, And I can show you that if we open a Rust file in VS Code, here's Rust, the icon next to the file is going to have that R extension, R for Rust. And various different languages and various different file types are going to have their own corresponding icons to go alongside with that specific type. So again, if you want this collection of images, which will appear later as we're exploring projects with multiple Rust files, you can go ahead and install the material icon theme, once again, by clicking the install button. And that will make your editor look exactly the same as mine. All right, so that completes the installation of the VS Code text editor. And with that, we are good to proceed to the next lesson.
Thanks for watching the video till the end. Please leave your thoughts below so we can discuss more about the topic. If you'd like to suggest a video that could help the community, feel free to message me on X or Instagram. We also share short videos on Instagram, so make sure to follow us there. Feel free to reach out. We'd love to hear from you, and might even create a video based on your suggestion. Thanks again for being part of our community. See you in the next video.